What's happening, people? Just know the score. We're back again. Episode 25, Chattin Pony with Paddy The Baddy. And same as usual. Just know the score. Flux sponsors the podcast. They're always helping me out. Some of the gear they've got's brilliant. I've went back old school again today and put the 3/4 zip on. I haven't got none of the new gear. With on that episode with Adam's absolutely sweating with that jacket on. So we've switched it up today. But want to introduce my guest, Mr. David Price. Obviously, I want you to introduce yourself, lad. That's what I always get people to do.
Where am I looking? Which camera? The middle one? Yeah, that one. Thanks for having me, Paddy. Great to be here. Big fan. Yeah, so for those who don't know me, I'm former British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion, represented Great Britain in the 2008 Olympic Games. I'd had quite a long boxing career early and quite successful. So, you know, I'm here to talk about...
Don't play it down, lad. It's not quite successful. It's a very successful boxing career, lad.
Okay. I'll let you say that.
It is though, lad. Know what I mean?
So we're here to talk about myself and that, I suppose.
But like, lad, some boxers would kill throughout the career that you've had, lad. Seriously,
most probably, mate. Yeah, most probably. It's perspective, isn't it? It's perspective. You know, I'll have days where I look back at my career and think, okay, I'm happy with that. But then you have other days where you're like, could have done a little bit different. But I think the key is for me not to just not think about it too much at all.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to come and talk about it and reminisce about a few different things and that. But you know, life has to go on and you've just got to keep moving forward instead of thinking, oh, the boxing. So that's where it's at now. But and I retired, and I retired officially about 6 months ago, 4 months ago, completely hung the gloves up, where I made the decision, no more fights, and a bit of a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
That, you know, because I'm getting on. I'm 39 this year. I don't want to be that fella.
Could not ever drag you back in, lad.
I don't think it could,
not one of these big fight nights in Dubai, lad, where they're throwing bills at you. None of that.
Probably. Most probably. That probably was, yeah. But I don't think I'm in the... I don't think my name's in the hat for it, but you can never say never. But realistically, mate, I don't think you see me in a boxing again at any point, you know, unless one of the sheiks get on the phone.
Yeah, one of the sheiks. Yeah, lads, I've got 10 mil for you here, kid. Man, son, I'll be there in a minute.
I'll be over there, yeah.
So obviously, where I always start, lad, how did you get into boxing? You know what I mean? What was, like, obviously everyone knows your amateur pedigree is ridiculous, but how did you first get into boxing?
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, family, you know, my dad, my granddad, watching the Mike Tyson fights, he was phenomenal at the time, and everyone was amazed with this young, you know, prodigy which was coming through and doing what he was doing, and he was on like mainstream TV at the time. It was all on terrestrial TV. It was dead accessible, and I can just add a memory of that. That was my first thing with boxing, and my dad was into his boxing. And then I started boxing when I was about 11, I think. I went to Long Lane Boxing Club, and that was the club I started at properly. But this little stint I had when I was 11, I had to go for a few months, and I liked going to the gym and training and sparring and things like that. But they'd always put me in with the older lads, you know, who did puberty, like 13, 14, because of the size of me. And I just couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't bring myself to enjoy it. I was a baby still.
Yeah.
I didn't like getting hit in the face, and I was like, I was more into me footy than Paddy. I was bang into me footy, and like every kid in this city.
Everyone in this city,
every kid in this city. And you know, I always thought or hoped I might be able to, you know, do something with me footy. And played with the school, you know, with Cardinal and school, went to the same schools as me, but obviously years apart.
Yeah, brilliant sports
always
school,
had a brilliant footy team.
Always. If you were playing for Cardinal and football team, you were good.
You must have been good.
I mean? You were good, lad.
Yeah, so I definitely was all right, but I think part of the reason I got put in the A team was my size. I think the teacher thought I'd be like a bit of an intimidation factor on the opposition.
Where did you play?
I played centre-half.
So I knew you were going to say centre-half.
Ball playing centre-half. I was more of a ball playing centre-half. I was probably like Matip. When Matip dribbles you out of defence.
Yeah, lad. I love Joe Matip, you know.
Great, isn't he?
Boss,
great,
lad.
Such an underrated player.
So underrated, lad. I always say that.
Player. But anyway, I played footy for a couple of years, and the team I always had like... lads who were at clubs, you know, like Bradley Orr, Tony Crane, top players who were at Everton, Liverpool, and it was just hard to maintain the standard next to them. And I think I got a trial for Liverpool schoolboys, not the team, not the club, not like the Liverpool Schools Association thing.
I know what you mean.
I got a trial for that in year 9, with third year seniors. I got a trial for that and I didn't get in, and I remember being heartbroken about it, like proper upset about it, because I wanted to say I'd got in the schoolboys team and everything else, and I just weren't good enough. And not only that, I'd had a fucking massive growth spurt, so it was all of a sudden I went from being like 5'10" to 6'4" in a matter of months. So
that's some growth spurt.
It was a spurt and a half, mate, and it didn't stop.
It
didn't
just
stop
kept
there.
happening.
It just kept going. And I think I just started struggling a little bit with my coordination and things like that. So literally about 2 weeks after I'd got the knockback from the schools, a mate of mine was training in Long Lane Boxing Club. And I was like, I used to go there, I wouldn't mind coming along. And I just went, I'm going to go. So I went, and that was it then, mate. I just got hooked on it. I just got hooked on the sport, and I was setting myself little goals, little targets, you know. First one was obviously to maintain competitive sparring without getting too downhearted if it was getting beat up or, you know, getting the better of, or getting hurt a little bit. And I got past that because it was starting to mature a little bit emotionally and mentally. So got past that stage, and then it was to have a fight. Let's get in the ring and have a fight. So a year later, I had my first fight in Bournemouth. Got
some
sucked
that.
It was a threat, mate.
Some threat.
There was no one anywhere for me to fight because of my size.
That's what I was going to say. When you were younger, lad, like, was you always just naturally big, even from like,
always, mate,
from like a proper youngster?
Always well taller than everyone else. I mean, I can't remember exactly, but I think in junior school, I was the tallest in the school in second year juniors.
In year 4,
yeah, in year 4. So I was, you know, because I'm a giant. You know, I'm freakishly tall. Not many people have seen anyone as tall as me. Do you know what I mean? 6'9", and it's really tall. So
I only know one person who's like anywhere near the size of you, lad, and we call him Big Johnny.
Big Johnny.
That's his nickname, lad.
Do I know him?
I don't know. Big Johnny Holmes. No, he's not involved in any MMA. He's a DJ, lad, but we call him Big Johnny. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's big lad. Like,
everyone probably called you Big Dave, lad.
Big Dave, Big Pricey. Yeah, that's it. That's my name. Everything's big, yeah. So yeah, my first fight was this kid from Bournemouth, and the Crocky ABC were going down to have like like a match where they take their squad and they fight against Bournemouth and whatever. And they said, there's a big lad here for David Price to Long Lane, come down with us. So I went down with my pal. Just me and my mate went down with all the Crocky team. Didn't know them, but it was Wayne Rooney's dad, his brother Graham, his cousin Richie, Richie Rooney and all that. So they took me under the wing and took me down. I had my first fight. It was a baptism of fire, mate, because I didn't know what to expect in a boxing. Like, you might not have, you can do all the training you want, but the actual reality of being in a fight, when the adrenaline's flowing, when them lights in the ring are fucking red hot and everything's just magnified. I was like, wow, that was fun. I need to pull my finger out of one, but I realised I had to take it a bit more serious, and then just went for them then, really. You know, again, because of my size, I got took onto the England setup pretty soon because there was no one else about, and I did have something about me, so they were like, right, let's get him down here. Got put on the England setup, and then just went from strength to strength, really, Paddy.
I was talking about that with Beefy last week. Like, back then, there wasn't really Team GB, was there?
No,
like,
no, there wasn't.
Like nowadays, the young boxers have got it nice. They've got it nice, lad.
Mate, yeah, they've got the best of everything. They've got it better than 99% of the professionals in the world, I'd say.
Yeah,
it's that good. Now, when we were going to the Olympics, it was just starting to get
the full sort of
decent
funding
level. Yeah, just getting decent. We were in the same location. We didn't have the same support and, you know, the same infrastructure and everything around you, which is going to give you that 1% We even had to wear our own fucking trackies and all that at that time. But they've got the best of everything now, and that's thanks to
you.
To me,
and like
to a degree,
It's people
so,
like you, lad. If it wasn't people like you, they wouldn't be getting the funding they're getting now.
It has, and then it's continued, and you know. So we helped the London ones. The London ones have helped the Rio, and then so on and so forth. So yeah. But had a lot of good times training with the England lads. You know, we've got a good little group of lads. We still stay in touch, you know, on a WhatsApp chat and that. Everyone's finished now, retired, and you know it's not everyone's been as successful as others. Yeah. So you do see that, and it's sad to see some of them, you know, because you can see that there's some of them are a little bit down over how things have panned out, but you know that's the nature of sport. You know, going off a little bit. I was talking about this to me missus, funnily enough, last week, because you're in your 20s now. Yeah. I'm in my 20s. Your whole career now, your whole life is focused on your dream. Yeah. Your dream is to become UFC champion, and everything you do now is going to set you up for the rest of your life. So you're investing all your time in your 20s to now, like I did. But a lot of people, I don't want to say wasted the years, but in a way they might have, because some of the best years of life where they can go out and they've got the energy that you've got when you're your age to go out and work like fucking, you know, really put the hours in. They spent it chasing a dream that was probably never going to happen, especially in boxing, because boxing's, there's such a big gap between the lower level and the top level, where not many fighters will retire and just go, I don't have to work again. I'll just go to the golf course
comfortably.
Very, very small few. And when you're
like
talking
1% or something, isn't it? Probably less, half a percent, something like that.
Yeah, it must be. So, and it must be, and then it's even lower again when you've got like the lighter fellas who fought for British titles and things like that. And I look and I think, I wonder if any of them have got regrets and think, you know, in hindsight, I could have gone and focused on, you know, business, going back to school or doing something else. I just feel like in your 20s, you're in your prime, and we're all chasing that dream, and for a few it comes, but for vast majority it doesn't. But, you know, you suppose you've got to follow your dreams, haven't you? Either way. But yeah, so we went off there. So
as you say though, lad, with your dreams, I would rather chase my dream and fail than sit in an office from 9 to 5 every day. Yeah. But when you look back in hindsight, if you do fail, at least I tried.
You tried. You know what
I mean? At least I tried with all my will and my being. I tried 100%.
100%, yeah.
To do what I wanted to do.
It was what you wanted to do at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, 1,000,000%. But it's just when I'm looking, I'm like, I wonder if any of them do regret. I mean, I don't, and I don't think I'd have regretted it if things hadn't have gone as okay as they did either, because like you said, but I get the feeling that some people, it's sad to see, but there's no support for fighters who just fade away. Do you know what I mean? A couple of them, mate, they're struggling with fucking brain injuries and everything, and they're just tossed to the side, and it's sad to see. But that's just one. You know,
as these people say, it's the nature of the beast.
It's the nature of the beast, mate. But apart from that, it's a great sport. Boxing is a fucking great sport. It's given me nearly everything I've got in my life, and I'm not talking about things. I'm talking about, you know, the person I am, the people I've met, and you probably find the same with your sport.
Just about to say, lad, people in our sports get a bad rap, lad.
Yeah,
like MMA and boxing, lad, you get a bad rap, but I have met some of the nicest people.
Oh, yeah.
Nicest people at MMA shows, boxing shows, know what I mean? Some of the coolest people, most down-to-earth people you'll ever meet. And, like, their friendships I'll have for life. Just like you've got the same, lad, friendships for life.
Yeah, definitely. Combat sports, and it's, as a whole, it will create respect amongst peers. Yeah. Because you know
how hard you have to work to get into any of that.
To get into any of it, mate. What you've got to go through to even get through that ropes, to go through go into that cage, you know, mate. You respect what they. It
annoys me, lad, when I see people online saying, "Oh, like people have been saying about my latest opponent, lad. Oh, he's fighting a bum." No one who steps foot in that cage or that ring is a bum. No one. Never mind fighting on a matchroom bill or a UFC bill.
Yeah.
None of them are bums, lad.
No, mate.
That, like,
No.
you can't sit on your fucking couch and call someone a bum, lad, when you'd never have the balls in your life to get in there.
Yeah.
So don't ever call anyone that has got the
mate.
balls a bum.
I hate that. I hate that for two reasons. For that reason that you've just said, but I also hate it because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
Yeah.
I was in that position loads of times where your opponent would get slated. Oh, how's he fucking fighting him and this and that? And you'd be like, right, if I knock him out, I'm damned because he's shit. And if I don't, he's shit. So I'm shit.
Exactly, yeah.
But what you'll guarantee is, and I had this, and same with you, they're going to watch it anyway. So there's no point fucking moaning about it. You're going to watch it, you know. So just deal with it, whether you think he's a bum or not. So keep your mouth fucking shut and have a bit of respect because, you know, that whoever you're fighting, who is it you're fighting?
He's a Mexican fella, lad.
Yeah.
He's got a lot more experience than me, to be honest. He's 36 years of age. He's been doing it for years, lad. It's his whole life.
So he's going to be teeth tough for a start,
Exactly.
isn't he? Probably never out the gym.
Yeah.
Always ready. You know, it's a fucking real fight. So these people, they're quick to criticise me, but you, I think you seem to have that thick skin.
Yeah.
The likes of you. You're just like, yeah, make no fucking odds. But me or other people, I'd take that and be a bit like, take it and be like, oh, fucking piss me off a little bit, that criticism, you know what I mean? But you're in a good position where you can just let it bounce off you and go, see you later.
I'm half lucky where, from when I was young, social media's been about.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
even from like my first fights, I've had people chatting shit about me and stuff like that, where social media only came along halfway through your career and you had to learn to deal with that.
Deal with, yeah. It was hard to deal with. But you know, your confidence is it's real, innit?
Yeah.
You've got this real confidence where some people have to talk themselves into confidence and get a run of results to give them confidence based on performances, which was probably me.
That's one of my biggest traits, to be honest. I think my actual confidence in myself.
Yeah.
Like
and
that's something that I always say to people.
No, and I think it's great because you're putting statements out there of what you intend to do and that you are going to do it. And you're putting your neck on the line, but that is confidence in itself.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's not just words. It's from within that. So I respect that. I think it's great. And you know, you've seen top fighters over the years to it, whereas the more unassuming, quieter fighters, they can be quietly confident.
Yeah.
But I think I always had that doubt. You know, if I said, I'm going to do this, that and that, I'd have a doubt in me going, why are you saying that? What have you done? You look stupid. But
You're putting weight on your shoulders and stuff like that.
Because, you know, you can fucking say what you want as well because it's next week, you know, next week they're talking about something else anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, but it took me years to come to that conclusion. But yeah, combat sports is like it's really complex, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is really complex when you think about the preparation you have to put in, training, the mental preparation, the dieting.
Don't start me on the diet, lad.
I don't think I'd have lasted if I had to diet.
Yeah, lad,
I don't think I'd have lasted.
It's the one thing that I hate the most about it. Because as you know, lad, you see pictures of me like that, lad, big fat face. You know what I mean? It's I blew up to like 90 kilo, lad. Yeah. Because I go for meals with the missus or my mates and I order
I've seen
3 starters and 2 main meals and then a dessert. You know what I mean? And I eat every last bit of it, lad. I'm one of them. If no of my mates had a chicken wing there, and I'm like, I can still see meat on that, because I finished chicken wings off on that for me mates. You know what I mean?
That's because, though, probably that what you're putting yourself through during camp, you're making sure you get every bit out of it before you go back into camp.
That is exactly it. Like, you're on it because you've been around the fighting sports, the combat sports.
Yeah, I'd do it to a degree, you know, because I wouldn't have to diet, but I'd eat clean and I wouldn't have a drink. So when I was out of training, I'd have a drink. And I'd gorge a little bit, but I'd never go over the top because I didn't have that deprivation of it when I was in training that much. So it weren't that much of a novelty to me. So I could take it all even. And now I'm retired, I'm completely the opposite way. I'm like, I'm eating lighter meals and things like that because
It's not like you're depriving yourself of it now.
Exactly. You know, it's not like...
I always say, like, I wish it was a heavyweight.
Yeah.
Wish it was a heavyweight.
You fucking might be soon if you keep doing that.
I wish, lad. I need a big growth spurt like you, lad, in year 4.
You might get one, lads, yeah.
That 6-inch growth spurt, and then maybe, maybe.
Yeah.
That's one thing I always say, though, don't we? You said, like, combat sports. No one understands what, like, it's like in a gym, for me, it's like a family. Like, I spend that many hours on the mat or in the ring or in the cage with these people, sweating, blood, sweat and tears, that they are basically my family.
Yeah, it's a brotherhood, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or a sisterhood as well with the
meatball.
With the meatball, yeah, or any
But I always say that to people, that people think, people always say it's fighting, it's a selfish sport. You're only in there on your own. Yeah, you're only in there on your own, so it's only your fault if something goes wrong. But everything leading into it, do you think I could do everything on my own?
No.
Do you know what I mean? You couldn't do everything on your own?
Especially not MMA. I think MMA is a little bit different from... But I trained on my own when I turned pro, just me and my trainer. And I think it'd have been better off as part of a group of lads all pushing each other. But see, you can work out with whoever's in the gym, can't you? You can have a roll and all that. It don't have to be the same weight or whatever. Whereas we'd train alongside each other. But sparring, I'd just have to have it heavyweight in. So I'd have to fly sparring partners in and things like that. But I do think just even training alongside maybe a collective team, you push each other. And I look at the Smith brothers as how much energy they must gather from each other when they were fighting. When they had their 3 brothers behind them when they were in that ring fighting, I think they definitely got some type of advantage emotionally and mentally going into fights, knowing that they were there with them because they'd done all the training with them as well the majority of the time. I think that has a big factor to play for them.
It does. It lights a little bit of a fire under your arse, doesn't it? I always mention it. When I fight on the same card with Molly, like, we've never lost. Whenever we fight on the same bill, we don't lose. And we feed off each other's energy.
You're raising the bar every time then, aren't you? Yeah. It's like a penalty shootout.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
One goes, then the next one's got to raise it a bit more after it.
Yeah. But it's great that you're pushing each other. So have you trained with Molly since a kid, like, or... When I started in 2010 and Molly started to be honest, lad, Molly started coming to our gym as sparring for Rosie Sexton. Okay. Rosie Sexton's the first ever female in the UFC. Okay. First ever UK female in the UFC. Yeah. And she needed stand-up rounds, and Molly come into a stand-up rounds with her. And then like a couple of months later, Molly started to get into her MMA, and she joined, know what I mean? Yeah.
Ever since then, we've always trained together. Yeah.
Did you go straight into MMA or did you boxing?
Yeah, no
boxing?
I had years. When I was about 11, 12, Ian Albo, my dad's mate, started getting me, taking me on pads and like doing a little bit there. And it was in Stockbridge, lad, but it wasn't Stockbridge ABC. They were starting like had their own little thing. And lad, I got me medical and all that. I was planning on fighting. I'd only been doing it for like 6 weeks. You know what I mean? Me and little Kev it was. And I never ended up fighting. And I just ended up, as you know, lad, everyone was out on the street playing footy and that. So I ended up just not ever doing it. And then literally, I remember watching a fight on the telly of the UFC and I was like, I'm going to have to try this, me. Literally, I walked in the gym at the age of 15 and just started doing MMA. I think that's what's helped me a lot. I never come from one sport or a different sport. I just done MMA as a whole.
Yeah, you're just natural in that field. Yeah.
But,
so,
like, I wanted to obviously go over, lad, what is it like being an Olympian?
Okay,
like, going to the Olympics and representing your country and that.
It's the pinnacle, innit, for an amateur boxer. Yeah. So I reached the pinnacle of the sport. You know, I won a medal. I would like to have won a gold medal, but I got a bronze medal, which I would have took before I went to the Olympics. But again, going back to, you know, regrets and thinking how things would be different. When the Olympic Games is actually on now, I get a bit down watching it and that, and like, fucking hell, I could have, you know, because I lost in the semi-final against the Italian. I just didn't perform. I didn't even get going. And before I knew it, got wobbles a couple of times. The ref stopped it. He's a brilliant fighter, this fella, Roberto Camarel. He fought Anthony Joshua in the London Olympics final and was unlucky to lose. But he's a great fighter, southpaw, and he just had my number.
Yeah.
Style-wise. He'd beaten me before, 4 years earlier. But going to the Olympics was everything I dreamed of, where we were talking about the small targets I made as a boxer, as I went along. The ultimate one at the end was to be an Olympian. There was the pro game weren't really an attraction.
Yeah.
It was more I want to be an Olympian because, I don't know, it just felt like it carried prestige and the fighters before which had been Olympians, it was everything for me anyway. So got there, qualified to go, and qualifying was no easy thing to do. You had the European qualifying tournaments, which was condensed with Eastern European countries, Russia, Ukraine, Azerbaijan. I mean, tough amateur fighters, like high level boxers, top level boxing. This is from when I was 18, because it was like building to the Olympics from 18. Nearly went to the Athens Olympics, got one fight, within one fight of going, and lost to the Italian again on points.
What did he do to the Olympics on the bounce him?
He won a bronze, a gold and a silver, so he's like an amateur boxing legend.
Yeah.
Really, really top fighter, but never turned pro. So yeah, missed out on Athens, got to Beijing, got given the captaincy of the boxing team.
Yeah.
Because I was the eldest in the team. I was 24, 25 then. And they done like a vote who should be captain. So all the lads picked me because I was the eldest. But I was the biggest, the eldest.
Yeah, most experienced
just a
out of everyone
senior
there.
figure, yeah, bit of a senior figure. So I got given the captaincy. And just we went to Beijing. It was a long way from home, like it was a fucking long way from home.
Say, what's it like? Like, I've never been to China, or I've been to Thailand, know what I mean, but I've never been to China, and it's just like being over there. What's like the crowd like and stuff like that? Because I can see myself in the future. I can see myself fighting there, lad.
100%.
Because it's gonna be like the UFC over there is getting bigger and bigger, and the audience there is huge, isn't it?
Massive, yeah.
Massive.
Yeah. I think you'll definitely fight over there. Yeah, they're great. Like, they were nice people over there, and they were just made up to be having such a massive event happening in Beijing with the Olympics. The world was watching. It was massive, and they were just nice people. All the volunteers working, everything else. But when you're in the Olympics, you get stuck in the Olympic Village. It's like being in jail, or what I would imagine being in jail is like. You're just stuck in the village, and
couldn't just leave the village, no?
The only time you left the village was to go to compete.
The venue, to fight.
To compete. Otherwise, you'd be knocking around like little market things, just walking around the streets of China with your accreditation on and all that. You just got warned off doing that. Just stay in the village, eat the food in the village for a start, because it's clean.
You're not going to get food poisoning and
all
stuff.
All that. So spent ages in the village. My family come over, mates and my family all come over. So I went out and seen them. Seeing megastars walking around in there, your Kobe Bryant's, just walking past you, sitting eating the dinner in the canteen. Roger Federer, one night,
one of my sporting idols, that lad, Big Roger. What a
performer he is, mate. One night I was standing outside the apartment block, and it was like dark. It was dark with the street lights on. So in the village, people after the Olympics will live in this village now. It was purpose built for the Olympics, but it's a proper housing estate now.
Yeah. So
this gang of fellas are walking through with a big footy net full of footies. And I got on the fella at the front, he was only about that big. But it was Lionel Messi just walking past me in the village. It was mad, But he was, and then behind him was Mascherano. So I shouted him. Yeah. So I shouted him because he played for Liverpool at the time. And he was like, I went, ran over to him. And he was like, and I went, look, I'm from Liverpool, and blah, blah, told him my story. And he was sound. And then I seen him a few times in town, just in restaurants, and then he always come over and...
that's boss, that,
proper cool fella, but that's just an idea of what you were surrounded by in the village, is just sporting legends, really. Andy Murray, the tennis player, he'd sit on the bus and go and watch the boxing with us. Because he's a big boxing fan. He'd be just sitting with us on the bus, just chatting away and that. But he hadn't won Wimbledon or nothing by then, but he was still a bit of a big name. So yeah, it was brilliant, mate. It was brilliant, but long way from home, China. You know, different time zones, different food. Took a bit of getting used to. But by the time the tournament started, you'd been there for 2 weeks. And
I was about to say that. How long before did you just get there? Like 2 weeks to acclimatise and stuff like that?
Yeah, we went to Macau, which is a little island off Hong Kong. That's where the Olden camp was. Done all that final training there.
Yeah, all your final preparations and stuff.
Just flew into Beijing. But what we done as well, in the build-up, in the months before it, we went over to just see what get a feel of the humidity, things like that.
Yeah.
And then that was like 3 months before, and then we went back for the games. But it was an experience. The press, you know, the spotlight on it, the media was massive, mate, massive. It was unbelievable. But my first fight, I was like the story of the Olympics. My first fight, I fought a Russian who was tipped to win gold. He was the favourite for the gold medal.
Yeah,
and he was world #1. And I got him in my first fight. So
you ended up getting the world #1 in your first fight. Mate. So you never knew that.
No. My head was gone because I got a text through from the door. Pricey's got the Russian, and I went, fuck. This fella was a menace, mate. Everyone was like a bit thingy with this fella, and I went, well, this is it. Back against the wall, mate. Let's fucking do it. So I remember going into the venue to walk through to the ring, and he come from one way and I was walking towards him.
Yeah.
You know, and then you get walked out into the ring, and he was trying to eyeball me. I thought, I'm not gonna look away. I'm gonna win this.
That's what I make sure I do. I keep staring right in their eyes.
Look away with this fella. Normally I weren't that really thingy about it, but this fella caught me and I thought, right, I can't show weakness. And all the way through till the bell went, it didn't. And he won the first round. And I was just moving my feet, little short powerhouse. And then the second round, literally begin the second round, he backed me into a corner and like loads up with the right hands. And I just, at that time, mate, everything I was hitting was falling. I just found me power in my right hand. And I just cracked him right on. He doubled the power of the shot though, because he put everything into the shot. He come into the
punch.
Yeah. And he took a knee, but he was gone. And after that, put him down again. The ref stopped it, mate, and I was ecstatic. I don't think I will know. I've never had a feeling since.
Yeah.
And I don't think I ever will. You know, like when Liverpool won the European Cup and all that, it was unbelievable, brilliant, best ever. When Origi's goal winning.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the
closest.
That
was when we knew, yeah. That was when we knew.
But this was just like, it was unbelievable. And then the next day, back page of the papers, it was big news, like, so. Although I didn't go on to win the gold, at least for one day alone, I was like the biggest name in the Olympics. Yeah. Everyone knew me. It was brilliant.
What, you beat the #1, lad?
He was the #1.
That's what I mean, you beat the #1.
He was
That's
the
main thing.
Yeah.
So what, if he was #1, what were you? Just out of curiosity.
Going into it, they were going off your
qualifiers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think I might have been 6.
Yeah.
I was definitely top 8 because I got to the quarters of the world, so that's top 8. I think I might have been 6 at that time, but obviously after the games I was 3. I was 3 because I lost to the winner, and the other fella lost to the loser in the bronze because there's 2 bronze medals. But great experience, but regrets, you know, and could have, should have. But I think the older I'm getting, the more you've got to appreciate what you've got rather than what you could have had. Do you know what I mean? So I've got that medal in the ocean. Come home to like a bit of a hero's welcome, really. First boxer to win a bronze from Liverpool, I think. I might have been, yeah. Or still might be.
Well, that's one thing, lad.
Yeah.
0.00002 people can say they've got an Olympic medal, lad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
definitely,
definitely.
So, the Olympics was the highlight of my career. Definitely. And then I turned pro.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. Like, when you turn pro, obviously, it's like I was going to say the press of the Olympics will have helped you so much, because having a pro fight after going to the Olympics and having that many cameras on you, that much pressure on your shoulders, it's nothing really, is it?
No, when you use perspective like that, it's not. But don't forget, I lost my last amateur fight and I got stopped. So already there was like question marks about my chin or whatever. You know, what happened there? So I was going in under a little bit of pressure when I first turned pro. And it was live on telly. 6-round fight. Normally you do a 4. They put me straight in for a 6 because of my amateur experience and that. And which was okay. But my debut, I felt the pressure, but I boxed really well, you know. I was explosive. It was one of my best highlight reel knockouts. But I realised how much difference it was. Yeah. These little gloves, no head guard, you know, my hands were killing.
When it was amateur then, it was points. Was it points?
It was the computer scoring,
wasn't it? Yeah, with the head guard. Like what ounces gloves were they in the Olympics?
They were 10-ounce gloves, but they were just a bit more padded around the fist. Yeah. So in the pros, the weights distributed more evenly across the gloves, so the knuckles are more. Yeah. You know, the knuckles are there. Yeah. But in the amateurs, the knuckles were padded more, and obviously the head guard. But I did get quite a good number of stoppages and knockouts in the amateurs towards the end, you know, just as I started maturing. Yeah. So when I turned pro, I had this right hand which I knew I could knock almost any man out because I knocked that Russian out or stopped him, you know, and other fighters, so I knew. And that gave me great confidence. That's a great thing to have, that equaliser. Yeah. You know, you've got it. It's a good thing to know. You can be losing on points or you can be hurt, but there's always that chance with that. So my first fight was a great win, and then I had an eventful career, you know, because I had different promoters, you know, TV stations going bust. I was with Chattin at first with David A's company. That was an Irish company. I think they might have done a bit of UFC stuff.
They did. Chattin did, lads. I think Chattin had Cage Warriors at one point as well, to be honest.
Okay. So they were my TV network and they went bust after one fight, so I had no promoter. So then I went with Frank Maloney, who's obviously now a woman. Yeah. He turned into a woman later on. Which sounds mad, doesn't it?
It does sound mad when you say it like that. When you say he's a woman now, it
turns into a woman later on. Yeah. Like, but it sounds mad, but he did. But I had a good run with him. I think I had about 15 fights with Frank, and in that time, he put me in like a great position because of the way he promoted me. He done a great job promoting me. He got my name out there. You know, he built a bit of hype around me. Yeah. But my performances were justifying it because I was knocking everyone out.
Yeah, and, but like you can put hype behind someone all you want, but you've got to keep winning, haven't they? That's what Cage Warriors done it with me. You know what I mean? I was only a young kid, and I got. If it wasn't for Cage Warriors, I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be the person I am. I wouldn't like have the experience that I have. Yeah. And like that's obviously the same situation as you there.
But you also had to go out and do it as well, didn't you? You couldn't have just done it and not performed and not been exciting. But that's what I was bringing, excitement. And I got to 15-0, was British Commonwealth champion, just about to do a deal to fight Tyson Fury at the time because we were at each other. We were big rivals because I beat him in the amateurs, and then when we both turned pro, we were on the same path type of thing.
Same trajectory.
The same trajectory, and you know, at that time, the consensus was that I would have beaten him, and if ever there was a time, it was probably then. Yeah. But then I lost for the first time against Tony Thompson in the Echo Arena, and it was a bad fight for me to take, to be honest. He was like, no one wanted to fight him.
That's one of them fights you were talking about before, isn't it? Yeah. Where people are like, oh, he's going to beat him anyway. Exactly, but then if you lose, it's a lose-lose situation. Mate,
exactly that. And he'd only just fought Vladimir Klitschko 6 months earlier, so we were getting a bit ahead of ourselves here. And truth be told, one of the reasons we took the fight was because he was cheap. Yeah. His purse was cheap, and which meant I'd get more money. I'd get the rankings boost of a win. Yeah. It was like, all right, yeah, we'll do this. He was old. He was 41 at the time, I think. But he was a good southpaw.
That's experience, lad, as well. That's experience,
good southpaw with a good record. And in hindsight, it was the wrong fight. But I took it, got caught in the second round, back of the year, and I went down. I got up and my balance had gone. And the ref just waved it off without even giving me a count. But my head was okay. My legs had just gone a little bit.
Just your equilibrium a little bit.
Yeah, it burst my eardrum. And it had been all right. And in that fight, all I had to do was stay on my feet because he hadn't even prepared for the fight. He come in at late. No, he hit the jackpot and he knew it.
Yeah.
He knew it. It was just like, it was just bad luck on my part. And I was just getting warmed up nicely. But anyway, that was the start of like a bit of a downfall for me because it hit me hard, the defeat.
Yeah.
I struggled to accept the defeat, and I was my own worst critic. I wouldn't forgive myself.
Yeah.
Now, if you know, if one of my mates or say you lost a fight and you was like down, I'd be like, look, it's only a fight.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not. It's everything you've worked towards, and you've put your heart and soul into it, and people have expected this, that, and the other. So anyway, the option was there to take the rematch straight away because we had a rematch clause, and the fighter in me was like, yeah, I want to put this right straight away.
Yeah,
want to do it straight away.
I want to get this back.
It's the quickest way to put right the wrong. And the people around me were like, look, leave it. Just let it lie. And have a fight in the meantime. See what happens. I was like, no, I want to fight. So I took the rematch. Trained with Lennox Lewis for that fight. He reached out and said, look, I'll help you train for this fight. Come to Canada. Went to Canada, work with him, but it was just the wrong thing to do because he didn't know me. He didn't know how I trained, what type of training I was used to. You know yourself, if you start doing a new type of training, although it's boxing, I'm talking more about the strength conditioning.
Yeah.
It can take a bit of adapting, you know what I mean? It shocks the body a bit, doesn't it? And before I knew it, I was in a bit of a state of overtraining and was just exhausted going into the gym. And it was like a vicious circle then because I was in the gym feeling tired, going, why am I tired? I'm not getting fit. All right, push harder, which is just like
making it worse.
It's like, it's a vicious circle, making it worse. So anyway, I just went right for the fight. I was putting myself under too much pressure, and then I was starting to question what's going to happen if I don't win this fight. If I don't win this fight, I'm fucked, I was saying. And I got dropped in sparring in the gym, which didn't help because then I was like, what's happening? I've just lost, got put on my ass in the fight and stopped, being dropped by a novice pro in the gym, and my head fell off a little bit.
Yeah.
So going into fight week, I was exhausted before I got in the ring because I'd burnt that much nervous energy through the tension of it all, the pressure I put myself under, and the fear of failing. You know, I didn't care about Tony Thompson, the man, but it was the fear of failing, which is fear. You know, so fear got the better of me. Whether you fear of failure or fear him or you, or you know, fear got the better of me at that fight because I was scared to fail. So I was exhausted after I was exhausted. Got in the ring, was exhausted. Thought I'll get warm, my legs will be all right.
One thing a lot of people who've never done boxing or MMA either, adrenaline dumps.
But that's what I
was about to say. You've probably went in there, your head's on overtime. A lot of people don't understand how much of mental that our sports are.
Well,
it's a lot of it's up here, lad.
Massively. I think I had the adrenaline jump weeks before the fight, though, and it stayed. I think that's what happened for that fight. So anyway, I lost the fight anyway. Stopped on my feet, exhausted. I had him down for 9, very nearly beat him. But after that, I was at a crossroads. Then I didn't know where to go with my career. So I had Eddie Earn wanting to sign me with Matchroom, talking about fighting. Who was he had a fight lined up for me? It was Chisora, I think. So there was decent fights out there for me. But then Sauerlands came to me from Germany and said, look, come and rebuild in Germany. We'll get you a few fights over there, get a few wins under your belt, come back to the UK this stand. And I went, sounds good to me. Good, sounds perfect. So that's what I've done. I had like 4 or 5 fights out in Germany, just on undercards, 10 rounders, done me training at home. Got an American trainer over to train me, Tommy Brooks, who trained Mike Tyson, Vander Holyfield, proper experienced fella.
Someone who knew what he was doing.
Good coach, mate, good coach. He come over, and I got back on the winning trail again, and then I got a European title shot against the German, Tepe, and I got knocked out in the second round, but it was a knockout, and it was like the first time
every time in your career you've been knocked out.
I've been stopped, but I hadn't been knocked out, and it fucking hurt me. It just hurt. It hurt me heart and soul more than anything.
You know what I mean? That's like it's not even the fact that like it actually hurts. Like it hurts your pride.
It's the pride, mate. It killed me. I was devastated over that. And it was a bad one. Like concussed. Didn't know what had happened after it.
Yeah.
In the changing rooms, I was like, have I lost?
Yeah.
Didn't know. It was weird. And they were like, yeah. It was a bit upsetting. So then after that, took some time out. Thought, I need to bang a bit of weight on here to try and get a bit solid, more solid. So I went on your diet that you do between fights, just ponging, just eating everything.
Just shoveling stuff down.
But doing a bit of weights and all that as well. But I put too much weight on. Went to like 21 fucking stone or something. Stupid, really. And then I got a phone call in December saying the fella who beat me tested positive for about 5 different types of fucking anabolic steroids and this, that and the other.
So that got overturned?
It didn't, no. So what they done, I don't know, mate. Well, I kicked up that much of a fuss over this that they changed the rule going forward. So they didn't change. Not only that, I found out Tony Thompson also failed the drug test in this first fight. So he shouldn't have even been in the ring in the second fight. Oh no, it was the second fight. Yeah, he failed the drug test. He had a masking agent and failed it. Because he appealed it, nothing got published until the ban was up. So he got a 2-year ban that I didn't find out about till 2 years later.
Oh,
if I'd have known that, I could have said, look, that needs to be a no contest. I've only lost once still. And obviously, I would have felt a little bit more better about
yourself because he's had to cheat to beat you.
Exactly, yeah. And the same thing happened with Tepper, but I found out sooner that he'd been nicked. He was selling it and everything. He was at it bad.
European champ selling stents. Lad, is he messing him?
He was at it, yeah. So he got nicked and he got the European title took off him, but the result stood. So I was like,
that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, how's that? So got on the phone, got my solicitors involved and all that. Look, I said, I want to go to town on the boxing board here because I should have 2 of my defeats gone. So when I'm in the ring, there should just be 1 defeat on my record. But
and 2 no contests.
Exactly, but they didn't. They just said, we can't change it, but going forward, if it happens again, not to you, obviously, to anyone else, that'll be the case, you know? Yeah. So, yeah, bad, mate.
That's bad, lad, isn't it?
Bad, yeah. So, that was a bit of a pretty sore subject to me. Drugs in sports, boxing, MMA.
And to be honest, I know I've got a loss on my record. I think 2 of them, to be honest, because obviously on Cage Warriors, you don't get tested.
Yeah.
They can't afford it, lad. It's not as big a show as the UFC. You don't get tested. When I lost my title on that, lad, the kid was juiced up to the nines. He had all the spots on his back and all that, you know what I mean? Yeah, and he was about 30, and I was 22, you know what I mean? And so I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, 100% then. But there's no way you'd ever know.
No way you'd ever know. And there was, like,
could you feel it?
Yeah.
Could you feel it in there?
Yeah, I could feel it. When he was holding me on the floor, I was like, wow, how was he this strong? We weighed in the same weight yesterday. Yeah. You know what I mean? When he's pinning me on the floor and that. Yeah. And like, we were scheduled to have a rematch, lad, and me being the stupid kid I was at the time, lad, I'd earned a nice bit of chunk of dough fighting in the Echo Arena on that card, so I could afford to get testing for us. But like an idiot, 3 days later, where it was playing on my mind and it was doing me head, and on like the Tuesday, I woke up and just put a picture of him on my Instagram saying, get on the juice spots on this cunt's back. And then he just said, no rematch, we're not doing it. And just sat out with the belt until he got signed by the UFC. And then looked like a bag of shit when he got signed. Because I think he went like 2 and 3 in the UFC or something, or 1 and 3, and got cut because he couldn't do the same performance.
Couldn't do what he was doing, yeah. So it was a pretty sore subject, that, which it is, obviously is to you as well, because I could feel it in this fella as well. You know, he was every shot.
You felt
it, yeah. And it only lasted 2 rounds, but it was like, fucking hell, this fella's strong. He didn't look much, by the way.
Yeah.
Like a little fatty. But fuck me, mate, he was strong, and the power. And when I started reading into what he'd been taking, it was like proper power enhancing steroids, you know what I mean? Not so much endurance, like helping you get a lot more explosive. So then that happened. And then again, I was in limbo even more, though, because I didn't have a promoter then. I was sat on the sidelines for a bit. Bellew got me on the Goodison Park, the one where he won the world title.
Yeah, when he won the world title.
So I got on that, and I had a decent fight on that against a fella from Slovakia.
Yeah, I think I can remember that one, to be honest. I can remember that card.
It was a bit of a alright fight to
Yeah,
come back
bit
to.
of a back and forth.
Yeah, and I was made up because it just got me a bit of a knockover.
Yeah.
But he come to fight and I didn't half get a kick out of winning again. It was that winning feeling back in it, the best.
No feeling like it, lad, in the world.
And that's what keeps you going back for more. I think more than anything, you know, it's that feeling you get when you win a fight.
There's no feeling like that.
No,
I'll be honest, I haven't got kids, but the only feeling that I think I could compare to getting my hand raised in that cage is watching me give birth and having a baby. You know what I mean? I can't think of anything what I'll even compare to it.
No, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. And it's the buzz for the days after as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
The weeks after sometimes. But I used to get the buzz and then I'd have a bit of a come down, you know. Do you know when the days after it'd be on the eye and then it'd be like a bit like, wow. Comes down, I'd get a little bit fucking hell, bit depressed because of weighing on that iron.
Yeah.
What goes up must come down, mustn't it?
That's where I just eat loads of food to replace that feeling.
Yeah. So I got that winning feeling back then, and went up and trained with Dave Colwell up in Sheffield for about a year. I had a couple of fights with him. I think I won only had 3 fights, won 2, and then I lost again. And again, I put a bangs of too much weight on, mate. I was nearly 20 stone in the ring fighting this German, Christian Hammer. And by round 7, I was exhausted.
I was feeling dead heavy.
Just destroyed it. Just carrying unnecessary shite around me back, my ass, everything. And I'm just naturally tall and slim. But I tried to be something I wasn't by getting big and heavy and when I should just use my speed or whatever. But he beat me anyway. So again, I was retired then, by the way. In my head, I was like, I'm retired.
That obviously when Eddie come in, and because you ended up fighting on matching, didn't you?
Well, yeah. So what happened? In my head, I was retired, right? I want to fight again. I hated it because I weren't enjoying my training up in Sheffield, and I was like, I want to get away from this completely. So I went sound, retired, felt great, going out for a pint, you know, normal life. It was boss, but then I just see me bank balance just go bump.
Yeah.
Because I weren't working, nothing on. I just went, I'm going to have to get the gloves back on. So come the September of that year, about 10 months after, I went and started to train with Terry Matthews and George Vaughan and Joe McNally, you know, Joe.
Great Joe, lad.
Cracking trainer, yeah.
Cracking trainer, proper boss fella as well.
Well, he played a big part in persuading me to get back in the ring. Just by chance bumped into him and I beat her on a stag tube. With Stephen Smith's stag tube, and I told him we're fighting again, and he talked me into getting back into the gym a little bit, and because of the person he is and his personality, I was like, okay, yeah, he kind of persuaded me, and it just went from there. Then I had a fight I had a 6 rounder in a leisure centre in Essex against a Polish fella called Kamil Sokolowski. Tough journeyman, right? Proper. He's fought at Otto Wallen the weekend. Fights everyone. Trains with Tyson Fury's team and all that. He's a cracking fella. But I beat him on points. And then it was like, what's next? Don't know. Waiting for MTK to maybe like put a show on so I could have a fight just for the sake of getting me a fight, because they were brilliant. They'd have done that for me. And then I think it was in the January, sat down my bed and said, I think I'm going to have to go and get a job or do something, because nothing's happening with this boxing. Don't know where I'm going. And next thing, the phone rang and it was my manager saying, do you want to fight Povetkin? You know, obviously Povetkin is so I was like, all right, let me have a think about it. And it was all, you know, it was money.
Yeah.
Enough money for me to fucking take notice. So I went, what am I even thinking about? I need to take this fight.
Yeah.
You know, opportunities, not so took it.
That's the short notice one that you took, isn't it?
No, that weren't. The one against the Russian was the short. So I took that one against Povetkin. I had a great camp for that. Went and trained in Germany for it. Unbelievable camp. And obviously lost the fight. Again, knocked out, but it was a fight that I'd come out of with respect off a lot of people, because I got up off the floor. I had him hit.
Yeah, at one point I thought you was about to finish him, to be honest, you know. Then you had him mad in that. But if you just would have had 30 seconds more in that round.
A bit longer in the round. I know. So although I lost, I come out a winner in a bit of a way, and I thought, right, I'll get more opportunities here.
Yeah.
And nothing happens again. And anyway, be the last.
And then me fighting that Asian fella in the Echo, I was there.
Yeah.
Lad, that one, that was brilliant, that.
Yeah.
Lad. Did he bite you?
He bit me, yeah. So, with that one, in the builds up
lad, you looked good in that fight, you know, lad. You absolutely outclassed him in every single department.
Well, that was his way out. That was his way out.
That was his way out.
But the best part about that fight was the build up. I don't know whether you've seen it. People still come up to me at the press conference.
Lad, at that press conference, it was all PC, and then what did you go? I'm gonna knock you out, you cunt, something like that, lad.
Do you know what it was, mate? It's just my. I just went into autopilot on him and argued with him like I'd argue with anyone else. But I don't really argue with people.
I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen Saturday night, lad. This is the beginning of this is the big stage, right? Big stage. Listen, mate, you're going to be like a rabbit in the headlights, and I'm going to fucking run you over and send you back to the leisure centres. Hey, send you back to the leisure centres. I've seen what you've been saying. There's nothing I haven't read or seen before, but he's a quitter. Do you think I'm going to quit? Do you think I'm going to quit against you, lad? You throw about 20 punches a round. You'll go back to being the sparring partner.
Listen, I sparred with you 2 years ago.
2 years ago? Yeah.
Listen, I've had 15 fights.
Yeah. Against shite.
I've got out of bed for
and
none
listen,
of them.
let me tell you now.
You can't do nothing.
Can't do nothing. You mouthy cunts.
What are you going to do?
Mate, I'm made up. I'm made up.
What?
I'm made up. You've gone like this because I thought you was half alright, but you're a fucking blade. And you're going to get your head punched in. Yeah. Wait and see,
lads. You don't face me.
See your little team over there.
And you still panic.
They're going to have the work cut out next 3 days, keeping you relaxed and calm because your ass is going to go, lad. Oh, you soft cunt, or I'll rip that beard off your fucking face. Fuck off, dickhead. What? What are you saying? You know when I've knocked you out, I'll fucking knock you out as well.
But people were shocked because it was out of context.
Out of character for you, like normally you're like not like soft spoken, but you're very respectful and stuff.
I'm here for business. I'm not here for all that. But he'd said a few things, and I thought, being a bit too disrespectful. This, and my daughter had been sick all week in hospital with her appendix, so being back and forth towards the day.
In a bad mood as it is,
mate. And I just went, you know, you. And once it opened the door,
that was it.
You just can't stop. Then, do you know what I mean? It's like having an argument with your birds. Once you open the door, you just don't stop. So everyone was like, wow, and then it built a bit of an excitement for the fight, and. It was the crowd there that night, lad. Mate.
Everyone was loving you. But I think he got booed and then you come out, everyone was going sick. I'll never forget, well, obviously after he tried to bite you and like he got thingy out, everyone was just throwing bevies at him.
Oh, mate, he got proper bombarded, didn't he? Yeah.
And he deserved it, the little rat.
You don't really see that, don't you?
No, you don't.
Because that was like, what are you don't do that, don't do that. That made me realise, like, the support I had in this city, mate, that night, because it was brilliant. But off the back of that, I forgot the Dave Allen fight, which was probably the best performance of me later years in boxing.
A lot of people counted you out in that fight, like, just because he was a young up-and-comer. You know what I mean? A lot of people counted you out.
Yeah, loads of people. Well, he was the favourite. And he'd been mouthy for a few years earlier, and I always wanted to fight him, but I wanted to fight him when it made sense for me.
Yeah, on your terms.
Not like on some 10 rounds down a card. I wanted it to be worth my while and have upside to beating him. So by the time I fought him, he was higher ranked than me. He come off a good win against Lucas Brown. It had upside. It was chief support on a pay-per-view, or not a pay-per-view. Was it a pay-per-view? It might have been Dillian White. So anyway, it was worth taking the fight, and I wanted to put him in his place. But going into it, he was all nice as pie and respectful. But a few years earlier, he'd been a little prick. Yeah. And I didn't rise to it because I was in that position where it was like, if I rise to this, he's going to get the fight. And I didn't want to give him it because he didn't deserve it at that time. So I felt like I played it right anyway. And by this time, the fight had come. But I think he'd seen me turn with the Cash Alley thing and seen the other side of me, and it put him on the back foot a little bit. Yeah. So he was a bit like, going in. So I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. But if you want to go the other way, I'll go with that as well. But I just went along with that. And I wanted to win. I went into that fight. I wanted to win on points. I wanted to prove to myself I could box 12 rounds and win on points. Yeah. And that was in my head. Just win on points. And at the end of the round 10, he was destroyed anyway. He had to get stretched out. He was in a bad way. Like, he had to, I don't know what had happened.
He's retired since, hasn't
He retired and come back, but that was another one with the winning feeling. The Cash Alley one, I felt like I got it robbed off me because he got disqualified and I was a bit like, but that Dave Allen one, that was satisfying, mate. Really satisfying. Really satisfying. Like, but that was a great little time, that, because Liverpool had just won the European Cup. I was back in the winning ways with the boxing and all that, and life was good, do you know what I mean? But then the Chisora fight got offered to me. And I got offered that fight, and I was like, I was a bit angry that he's offered me in the circumstances, because I had 3 weeks to get ready for it, as in sparring, stepping me training up, and I was like, this is a big fight against Derek's a hard fella, you know. He's a hard fight for anyone at any time.
You know he's coming to fight every single fight.
So I was like, I'm up against this here, but I was in training for a show in the Echo, so it weren't like a bag of shite. But I knew I was up against it. Gets Dave Allen in for sparring, more or less spray me wrist with the first. He hit him on the top of the head, and it still hurts now to this day. So my hands just swelled up. So that happened. Couldn't use my right hand then till the fight. A few things happened, but come fight night, got a thingy in it, and a painkiller. And I thought, I'm ready to fight. You know, I can get in and do this. But he was just a step ahead of me from the way it go. He was just that step ahead of me, prepared better. You know, I was reacting to him rather than taking the fight to him. I was reacting to what he was doing instead of initiating my own stuff, because I thought if I can try and get into like 5-6 rounds in and Derek starts blowing. Because don't forget, I'd just done 10 rounds for the first time the other week. Thought I was like had the best engine. And I'll take Derek to the later rounds. Who was I kidding? Taking Derek to the later rounds. But anyway, he just hit me early and I just struggled to recover. But that was that. But what happened with that, mate, that set me up for retirement, that fight. You know, it was a big fight. I got paid well. And I only got that fight because Joseph Parker got bit by a spider. That's the mad part about that.
Is that what that was? Yeah.
He was fighting Derek. He got bit by a spider and had to pull out. So they were like, oh, we need an opponent. So they come to me.
Yeah.
And then after that, COVID hit and all that. You know, no one could fight. It was just like mad the way it happened, but it was a blessing really that I got to fight. And although I was gutted I lost after it for months as well, because the business side of it was like, it's good business, but at heart we're all sportsmen, and we just want to win. And no matter what you're paid or what, it hurts if you don't win.
That's a fact, lad. Like I thought when I fought back, lad, in the Echo Arena, I should have pulled out of that fight. Like, I had surgery 12 weeks before. I got the wires took out 6 weeks before. I was still sparring with a splint on up until 2 weeks before, and I should have pulled out. But because the show was on my the weight was on my shoulders for the show, everyone wanted to see me, and that I knew if I pulled out, the show would have went to fuck. And I got paid nicely for it, so I'd done it anyway. But still, for 6 months after, I was waking up crying and that.
So that just shows.
And I had that heavyweight as well. It's one shot, lad.
I know.
That's what I always say to people. Like, heavyweights are underappreciated because it's one punch, lad. Like how anyone at heavyweight stays undefeated, it's just impossible.
That's why you've got to take your hat off to the big fella Fury, haven't you? Because he will find a way to win no matter what. No one else has done what he's doing. Still undefeated. The size of him, how he can move, how he can box 12 rounds at the pace he does at that size and weight.
It's scary.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's mad. So, you know, but the good thing about Fury, for him, when you don't really get this in sport, any sport, footy, boxing, a lot of people aren't appreciated till they've finished. When they finish, people go, oh yeah, he was good, him, and this, and they appreciate them more.
No one really appreciated Ali at the time, did they? It was in the later years that people started to appreciate him.
Lennox Lewis, at the time, they were always out to get him, and now they're like, he's one of the best ever. But I think Fury's getting his credit now while he's here, which is good, like, but he deserves it, definitely.
Well, lad, what a career you've had, know what I mean? I know obviously you look back in hindsight and you think, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that, but as I've just said, heavyweight boxing, lad, is one of the most unpredictable things in the world.
It's its own sport in a way, heavyweight boxing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. It's completely different. You have to train a bit different. Got to be managed different.
Yeah.
Got to be looked after properly in heavyweight boxing until the time comes to let you off the leash. Do you know what I mean? There's a different way of doing it, I think, and you've got to get it right. But yeah, you know, ultimately, I am happy with what I've achieved. Yeah, definitely. And I'm happy to be retired.
Yeah.
I'm happy, mate. I'm out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm out of it. I don't have to fight anymore. I don't have to do that anymore. Yeah, it was good though, mate. Good ride, but you can't go on forever. So that's
it.
Yeah.
Well, lad, that's perfect point to finish us on, lad. But
thanks,
Dave,
lad.
tell everyone where to find you on your socials and stuff like that, lad.
Yeah, I don't really use it that much, to be honest. But I'm at Instagram at David Price _1 and Twitter. I haven't been on Twitter for God knows how long, but I might get back on and start tweeting because the footy's coming to the business end in it, and just have to see what people are saying.
Twitter's toxic though, you know, lad. That's where I get people giving me pure grief, Twitter, lad, because they just make fake accounts. But
shit houses, mate. It's the worst, but it's like a double-edged sword, social media, because you do get a lot of well-wishers, good people, but the small minority doing
your head in.
They're doing it.
90% of the stuff I get positive, but then the 10% sticks in your head.
Sticks in your head. That's human nature.
I've just started to mute people now, lad.
Yeah, you've got
to mute them, lad. Fuck them.
Don't block them, no.
Yeah, that's lad. Don't want to block someone yesterday, and people were like, lad, don't be blocking people, mute them. Just mute them. It's like, son, I'm going to do that from now on.
Yeah. Don't give them the pleasure of getting blocked. Just mute them. Yeah, definitely,
but
mate.
Dave, thank you very much for coming on,
lad.
lad. Really appreciate
that,
it. Another episode down, episode 25 of Chattin' Pony with Paddy the Baddy. See you next week, the firm.